What? You on vacation?
They've been gone since one Wednesday, the other one Thursday.
Yeah.
It was Mother's Day. I had to go.
I
Hang out with my mom. It was Mother's Day and my daughter's graduation. So college graduation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to ask you who you was booed up with, but okay.
Yeah. Come on, somebody.
Wow. Wow.
Well,
I was doing that too, Vashti. How about that?
Ooh.
I bet
know what?
you were.
You know what? Get off me.
By effect, know what?
I ain't messing with you no more,
Hold
Vashti. I ain't
on.
messing with you no more.
Wait a minute. That's actually breaking news right there.
that is breaking news. And he said it on the air. I didn't have nothing to do with it.
Things must be getting cool out there, I'm trying to tell you.
Special.
You started something right there.
You know what?
For him to say that on air and admit to being booed up.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
It is going to rain and it's going to get cold
Matter of fact,
today.
hey, find that song booed up. We got to pay today.
Boo.
I'm not letting any of you.
That's how good your weekend was.
Exactly.
Watch this, Mac.
Any of you.
I'm proud of you, man.
I am too. Now Reese is doing all that. He only wants to look over there and ask him about his weekend.
Vashti, let's go. What you got?
You see that, Vashti?
You on vacation too?
Yes, he was.
He's been gone since Thursday.
I was with my mother over the weekend. We had a great time. And
good answer.
Yeah, yeah.
It's their first day back, Vashti, since Thursday.
Yeah, it was cool.
I was alumni gathering, Reese.
Oh, alumni gathering was great. K-Mac. He tried to get back at me now, but I did go to alumni. It was cool. But Vashti, what we got now?
Now we're ready to move on.
Yeah, that's right. Nice.
I don't have a game on, a game over.
Well, no. That's right. That's right, Mac.
So I'm glad you don't have a game on because I got to ask you, Vashti. So you down in the mix of things. Things get hot and cold. We're coming off of the draft down in Pantherland. Everybody doing their thing, whatever. What have you seen any other than Bryce Young? Have you seen anything to make us think that this team is going to be a 10+ win team next year?
I mean, it's way too early to say that. I think that based on the pieces that they have, if Bryce Young is decent, then they could be competitive. But, I mean, we just saw it's just rookie minicamp. They're doing OTAs this week, saying mandatory minicamp for all the players is in a couple of weeks. But you won't know anything until, training camp at best, but till these guys play real games. So, I don't know. No, is the answer to that question. I didn't see anything to make me believe any more, any less than I already believed going into coming out of the draft.
I'm just nervous. You just seem. I
don't know what of course, I was down in Birmingham, and everybody was asking me about Bryce. Again, we talking to Vashti Hurt, Carolina Bliss, covers the Panthers. And Vashti, I know that was some positive comments coming off of the fact that they said that when Bryce was recent stint with, I guess, what did they have? What was it? What do they call it? It was a practice. What did they just
rookie minicamp?
Rookie minicamp. Okay, said that he's controlled. Came out and said he controlled the huddle. I was like, what does that do with a down and out and a post and a slant and go?
Right now, that's all we got.
Okay, but that's
right now, that's all we got.
Okay, I was just trying to figure out. That's what we got.
That's it.
That's what we got.
So your comments on just how some of the words that came out of the minicamp, Vashti.
I mean, I agree. He seemed to be a leader among those young guys, even as a rookie. But they're all rookies there as well.
Okay.
They didn't do a lot. I think they did some installation, but these are all guys who are either trying out for a spot on the team or who are rookies coming right out of college. So it was more getting them used to the process, what they can expect when they get around the vets, how things will be run with the Panthers practice. So it wasn't, we saw them go through some drills where Bryce was throwing. And, he looked good in those drills. And there was a bit of 7-on-7, 11-on-11, but not a lot. So you really couldn't gather that much from rookie minicamp. It was it really is more to get them up to speed as to what they can expect on Monday, like today, when they get around the vets.
Awesome.
I mean, Monday yesterday.
Yeah.
My days are all mixed up.
We are talking to Vashti Hurt with Carolina Blitz. I just wanted to ask you any quick or immediate takeaways from the release last week of the Panthers' schedule.
Good question.
I actually, it's not a bad schedule at all. 4 out of the first 6 games, I think, are on the road, which could prove to be tough. But historically, the Panthers have played better. At least under Matt Rule, they play better on the road than at home. We'll see how that goes under Frank Wright. And then they open the season against 2 division opponents in Atlanta and New Orleans. So depending on how they open the season, they can put themselves, in an early front running for the NFC South. So they have some really good opportunities at the beginning of the season, especially with those first 2 games. Division games, which of course everyone knows count more than the others, to set the I'm drawing a blank, but set the tone. That's what set the tone for the remainder of the season.
Man, I tell you, we rocking out with Vashti Hurt from Carolina Blitz, and Vashti, I want to switch gears just a little bit. We don't get a chance to talk to you about some of the other stuff that goes on in sports. I want to get your take on, I don't know if you're up to speed on this recent Ja Morant video, right? And this continued saga of Ja Morant and, want to be in videos, want to be flashing firearms, want to do all this other stuff. What's your take on just this mentality from Ja Morant, if you have one, and just where he is and what is he ever going to be able to get out of his own way?
Yeah, I'm not going to be the one to trash Ja Morant. He is still a young man from Sumter, South Carolina. I don't know if you guys have been to Sumter, but there's really not much going on. Right. There's really not much going on in Sumter, South Carolina. Went to Murray State, really not much going on there. And then now you put a whole bunch of money in his pocket, and he wants to be cool, and he wants to associate himself with everything he thought was cool growing up that he could not associate himself with. I think that he could get better guidance, and that starts really with his father, who is trying to be a celebrity himself. And I think that that's where it stems. I think that T. Morant needs to stop, thinking that he's Usher on the sidelines, sitting courtside every game.
Exactly.
And, get up in the booth and try to really rein his son in. It's not illegal to own a gun.
It is not. You're
right. I want to put that out there that Ja Morant has not done anything illegal. You don't have to flash your gun on Instagram, but that's what these young kids do. Like, it's just... these generation, what are they, Xers or
these are way
not X.
SYZ plus. I don't know.
This is the social media age, and I think that those some of the folks who weren't raised in that time frame aren't as understanding. Like this is how they flex for the gram. In his position, it is not the smartest thing to do. But it's up to his dad, who has, helped him throughout his career, to take him aside and say, son, this is not what you're supposed to be doing, instead of trying to live vicariously through his son and be a celebrity in his own right. Nah. Or at least, like, where's mama? Like, we don't see mom.
That's true.
I hadn't seen her one time.
Mama can rein that in, too.
Yeah.
So... it's going to be up to them. The guys who are eating off of him, or who are eating off of him.
Yeah.
The guy who posted the video, I went to his Instagram. He's somebody from South Carolina. I'm sure he knew, before he quote unquote made it. And these guys are eating off Ja Morant. They're not going to tell him, bro, you need to chill.
That's right.
Because they over here benefiting as well. It's up to his parents to pull him aside and say, bruh, you about to mess all of this up. If you just can't, you can have fun. You just don't have to post it for everybody to see. And those in his clique need to understand that they don't need to post it for everybody to see either.
Or it's going to be nothing to eat off of.
if I'm a Memphis person, if I'm the owner of the Memphis Grizzlies, because Ja Morant is a star, right? We know that,
Yep.
and we've seen this in the past. I would have somebody be with him, until he can prove that. Listen, until he matures a bit, I would have somebody to monitor his coming and goings, not just to protect my investment in him, but to protect him from himself. Because if he doesn't, he gonna trick off that contract he just got.
So Vesta, do you think they should take any action against him in terms of suspension at all? I mean, they've done some, but anything?
Yeah, I think that's for the optics. Technically, he hasn't done anything illegal. I don't think that he's done anything that is detrimental to the franchise. I don't think that he's done anything that would go against any quote unquote code of ethics. We're not talking about somebody abusing a woman. We're talking about you in a car with your friends and you legally hold up a gun that I would assume is registered. This is not illegal. Is it not smart? Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's not smart, but I don't agree in lengthy suspensions for this kind of stuff. But look with Gilbert Arenas, he got 50 games, and that was supposed to set a precedent. Like, y'all, you can't be out here acting like, you have to conduct yourself in a certain way when you're part of the league. Mm-hmm. So they may try to make an example of Ja Morant.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't think any lengthy suspension is warranted. Or he should get a lengthy suspension. It's just because, you see guys get away with more all the time.
Yeah, I just think he has an unhealthy respect for this whole situation. And, there's a lot of blame to go all the way around, like you said, mom, dad, friends, enablers everywhere. But I think it's got to start with him. He's got to create some form of boundaries for himself.
That's right.
Or else this is, like you said, this is going to go.
Who is he harming?
Well, he's harming himself. I mean, as an entity. To be honest with you.
Is he harming anybody else?
No. Well,
you know what?
No. So here's what I say. Here's what I say about that, right?
Because
he may not be harming anybody else today, right? But is he just playing? Does he really want to try to play like he's that guy? I mean, at this point, we all say it's about the gram and all that, but I'm telling you, all of this activity means something else as you progress, as it gets further. Sometimes it's more than just the gram. Sometimes people take it for more than just what it is, what he think it is.
Well, that's interesting you say that. Because, Vess, I appreciate your comments. I don't 100% agree with some of your comments you made, but I respect it. And your comments is very similar to a lot of people. You're right. Yeah. He didn't do anything that was illegal, whatever. But the optics, and you mentioned that kills me. I mean, he's employed by a organization that's not going to condone any of that. And I kind of bring you back to a little while back. Gilbert Arenas, you mentioned his name, Javaris Critton. That whole situation where they was playing with guns, messing around with guns, and then it elevated to the point that K-Mac was talking about, where people think you that hard and you that dude, and you're gonna end up in a situation where you may have to be that dude, and the guns may go off of somebody, because people they believe in what they see sometimes.
Right. And he has a responsibility with the brands that he represents.
Yeah. And I just think that it's just a bad look, and it may not be illegal, but the optics of it is not a good look for the organization, and not for him, in my opinion. So,
what was the young man? Was it Takeoff?
Oh, I'm sorry. If the NBA can only suspend Miles Bridges 30 games for what he did, and 20 of them are basically time served, so basically a 10-game suspension, that's what I'm talking about. We can't pick and choose what we want to be, rah-rah about. Like, Miles Bridges was in a domestic violence situation.
That they swept under the carpet, be honest with you.
Yeah, so 30 games and 20 of which they're going to say that no. But if you suspend Miles Bridges 30 games and then you go in there and you make an example of Ja Morant, what precedent are you setting? Like, Ja Morant didn't have a domestic dispute with his wife. He's in a car listening to music and he showed a gun. He didn't shoot the gun. He hasn't got, I mean, there have been some incidents supposedly with his crew, and that's another thing. But That's
Yeah.
not what we're addressing right now.
No.
We're addressing a video where he was on IG Live. I mean, so to me, that's when I say what I say, like, and you know, I don't have all the evidence of what Miles Bridges did, but
There's a lot of it out there though
come
already.
on. Yeah. So 30 games, and now you want to put. Now I'm hearing people say, "Oh, Ja Morant shouldn't play for a whole season."
Ooh.
Right.
Ooh.
And I think some of that just is the value that they place on
Wow.
or not place on domestic violence and against
Right.
women. They don't. He probably will get
you know
more
what?
than Bridges.
So let me. So I'm glad.
No doubt.
Pam,
Okay.
you and Vast, both of you guys being here. Like for real though, like how does that play? How does that come across? Like to women that like sports or love sports, that's in sports. Like how does that really come across when you guys see it? Because you know a lot of teams, men, whatever, they probably don't feel it the same as you guys feel. How does that come across when you see the disparity like that?
Right. For me, I mean, like I said, I think it does. They don't put a lot of value in it. We talked about this with Deshaun Watson. So I just think he probably will get more than Bridges got because of
That's crazy.
domestic violence versus, you know, he's showing his gun. And what do they feel about women? You know,
Yeah.
I just think there's not a lot of value placed there.
Fast
Yeah,
time?
They
I mean,
get a
I
little pat
agree.
on the back and go back out there and play. All you did was hit your woman. I mean, I'm just telling you how I really feel.
That's it. There you go. Right there.
Wow.
And if you have men at the table who are doing the same thing, then it's like, well, you know, this is not abnormal. This is what we do.
Ooh. Man.
She probably said something to get that or whatever, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. If people just feel that was
That's how, I mean,
Yeah,
this is what it's been in every league, though. I mean, this is just what it's been.
I guess
Even the UFC guy, I mean, he had a domestic incident that was caught on camera, and it was literally swept under the rug.
Right. Okay.
Right. So, I mean, this is the society that we live in, where
That's
it's
true.
more acceptable to put hands on a woman than it is to show a gun on Instagram Live.
That you own a gun. I mean,
But
it's crazy.
yeah, that's interesting.
I tell you, man, this will be another conversation for another day.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
one.
a
there.
whole
That's a
show.
real
We
good one.
add
there.
Dr. Strobel to it. I mean, you know, it may be tougher then. But I asked that question because I was just curious about how difficult it is to be a fan of sports that, quite honestly, sometimes make you feel like you as a female just don't really matter.
Don't matter, right?
By some of the decisions they make.
We're still fans in the NFL, and look at the disparity in head coaching. We're still fans of college football. Roll Tide, right? Look at the disparity. Look at the disparity is when it comes to black coaches in those realms. Like black people are discriminated in these spaces as well. No black owners in the NFL. Like this is
Well,
what it is.
we're gonna have one
But
with
it's
our Brian
unfortunate
Davis.
because
Stop that.
I said we're gonna have one with Brian Davis, but his paper came up funny.
Reese being shady about Brian Davis lying about
Brian said, I got it. They said, well, go ahead. Let's go to the bank.
so petty, Reed.
I'll give don't blame me. That's BD. I'm not talking about. Yeah, I got $7 billion right here. Let's go. He said, show me the paper. I'll get back to you.
Last time, before we came on the show that day, he said, "You know he ain't got no money." I said, "Reese, don't say that on there." Look at.
I mean, he own half the NFL.
And a day later, what did we see?
He had no money.
I said, "What?"